over the board, so just go with it. So,
Usually they are.
first and foremost, thanks for everyone who showed up, okay, in the February 1st meeting. We appreciate the turnout. I think there's been very few in my tenure here of, legislation or things that have really driven out that kind of perception. So I appreciate everyone coming. In a couple minutes, I'd like to again tell you some of my thoughts in kind of random order of where I came to on my decision. As a whole, I think everyone here agrees with the desire to have more restaurants and entertainments nearby. It's always been a goal of ours. But the challenge will always be how. Okay? We don't have the daytime traffic to support lunch operations. We've heard that from day one that I've been here. Children's is going to bring employees and patients to the area. Daytime traffic. UDF, although it may not be a fan, brings people getting gas and other amenities. It brings people to the area. Salons, small retail, small medical facilities. We've got 1 million nail salons. We've got 1 million of the little niche things. They don't bring a whole heck of a lot of people. And I think honestly, they turn over faster than anything else we've seen up and down 42. There's constantly revolving windows of those small applications. They simply can't bring in the people to support the rent. So I don't think by adding nail salons and those other things, you're truly driving people to a development. Aldi, at the end of the day, Aldi's business is going to be, they need X amount of customers in there to be able to support their business. So i.e., it would bring individuals to that area. So one other question that I constantly go back to when everyone wants to talk about high-end and niche restaurants and things that we really like, please show me one place in Northern Kentucky that fits that bill other than Waltz. I can't name another one. Maybe Naughty on the Bayou, I don't know if that's high-end, but it's niche, okay? But there are very few other ones that you can say are in Northern Kentucky. Covington has some, but you're drawing the Cincinnati crowd. Otherwise, most of us, if you want to go out to a really nice meal, you head to Cincinnati, okay? I don't know any others. I fought that for years, we talked about it. I just can't name another one. So could we conclude that simply we do not have the diversity or density to spend that and support that kind of a restaurant? We just don't. Could we support a Bonefish? Could we support a Ruby Tuesdays? Whatever you think your niche or middle scale restaurant could be, I think that's possible. But the problem becomes the cost of infrastructure, the cost to build those. Who in this day and age, when everything seems to be going the other direction, where you're closing more restaurants and things than investing, who's gonna be able to afford that? The mom and pop ones that we've seen come in here in front of the Kroger situation, they were here for a little bit. It was the barbecue place, I can't remember the name of it. It was here for maybe a year and it folded. Okay, so businesses continue to struggle. The ones that seem to actually survive are ones that have moved into pieces of property that had lower rentals. And so they've been very successful. I've heard for years comparisons to Carmel or Fishers, Indiana. So if any of you have been to those are wonderful places. We moved there from those places. And I've said all along, we simply aren't those areas. We're not those people. Their revenues are $17 million a year. We're not. So you can't say we want all those high things that they can simply go out and throw budgets at and achieve. We'll never get to that point. We can't possibly build out the city of Union on rooftop taxes to be able to pay and have the level of influence to be able to draw that kind of business and have that kind of input to any development here in the city. I did put a comment here about if we want to be those areas, it's not undoable, it's possible. However, the people outside of the city of Union limits would have to contribute, okay? If that's unincorporated Boone, we'd love to have you in the city. We'd love to have your tax base to be able to help support growth. Is that gonna happen? We probably all sitting here today know that that's not, but we can simply only grow it so much on the backs of our residents. Scrutiny of the plan change. I guess my question is, has any development that's come before this commission not had its changes? Kroger, Story Point, developments of neighborhoods. Yes, they have. Almost every one they've had changes. Has our park plan not changed over the past 2 to 3 years? It's changed substantially. The first rendering had retail and housing surrounded it. We did away with that plan. Instead, we went a 180, and the most recent plans have much more green space and many more amenities that we're promising the citizens. Again, a total 180 from where we were. So we've changed our own plans internally. Recent discussions are possibly adding a multi-million-dollar city building to the property. That wasn't a vision or a goal of any of us sitting at this table back to 2021. So once again, that wasn't a goal of when we acquired the property. Is that not a total change of scope internal to this house within the past 2 or 3 years? It is, absolutely. Have we gotten any closer to being more in line with the Union Town Center plan from 2000? It's been mentioned here tonight. I challenge that none of our infrastructure development looks anything like those visions. None of them. I think it's unfair that a little piece of property along 42 was expected to have the keys to the kingdom when it came to a walkable neighborhood and facility for our citizens. It was a vision and a guide, and we've tried to keep with that resemblance as much as possible. But I have little faith that that plan could ever really be achieved. I don't think anyone sitting here today that's read through that plan thought that that would ever really be what the city of Union looked like. I can think of only one community in northern Kentucky that could have implemented a vision very similar to what you find in the villages, where you can walk it, bike it, golf cart it, you can go to your doctor's appointments, you can go to everywhere you want, right? Probably Triple Crown. Triple Crown would have probably only been the only neighborhood in northern Kentucky that had the real estate in the capital to be able to implement a plan like that. They did not. So why the reason is, I'm not sure, but if you look at the rest of us here, we've been in neighborhoods that have been established since, what, John, 2000, in the 80s? So we've been here forever. So there's no new development that's gonna come up that's gonna be as robust or as large of an impact that we could develop something of that nature. So I ask, are we really being fair by saying this small piece of property or development ruins a vision of our communities being walkable and a place to dine and play? Ruined simply because this outlot is deemed a grocery store. Are we going to be distraught when another active project, which we have several in the queue, don't live up to the promises of the anchor and the high quality restaurants that were being promised? I think we will be, or will pretend to be distraught, yet we continue to face the same challenges in regard to daytime traffic, being able to fill those restaurants, and the actual cost of implementing. Many here expressed a concern about grocery stores going out of business. Yes, it absolutely could happen. We've had an IGA that sat vacant for the number of years that I've been here, and we've also had a Kroger building that, absent of some minor activity, has been closed down for years. But I find the idea of a vacant lot more concerning in a multi-million-dollar complex than something being new and that drives business to the area. If this commission decided to strike or move a grocery store, then we should have done it when we had the time. We did not strike that use from the property. I find it hard to believe that any of us believed that grocery stores were going to be able to go into this property and be less than the footprint of the proposed Aldi. I believe personal opinions of Aldi as a discount or low-end grocery chain is affecting the decision of this project. I do not believe there would be as much opposition if this grocery store was named Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, Sprouts, or others. In closing, I want everyone to know that my vote is based on what I believe to be a positive amenity for our citizens as a whole. I'd like to point out that my vote still only counts as one as it pertains to this commission. Over the past few years, we've had several projects or legislation proposals that would seem to require more than 5 votes. So I appeal to this commission once again to entertain putting projects and legislation of this magnitude to a ballot. Let the true citizens decide, not 30 or 40 individuals that show up, what the true brevity or what the true vote of the community is for these projects. However, should this commission determine that it is not an avenue you'd like to pursue, then my vote moving forward tonight will be to approve the project as amended.